Once again, Diane Sawyer.
If you've thought, haven't seen a lot of that Hollywood superstar Gwyneth Paltrow lately, not the usual deluge of celebrity photographs, well, you're right. Until recently, the intriguing Miss Paltrow has been living in London. There is a new movie, A New Man, for the woman who's already bedazzled most of the industry's glamorous guys. And, as you'll hear, there was another reason Gwyneth Paltrow stayed abroad, to gain distance from memories and the ache in her heart. Finally, after months and months, one of the most talented women in the movies is in New York City and coming back.
Gosh, it's so nice to be home, I can't tell you. Cobblestones and Manolos. Oh, it smells like Stella, I love it. She's got a new perfume.
Gwyneth Paltrow, back home. Still an all-American girl who radiates a kind of hilarious perfection. The long legs, the shiny hair. Though she'd be the first to say that behind every glossy photo, there's a human truth. You actually split the seams of this?
I split the seams of those. I was at this premiere, and as I got out of the car to go to the party, I thought, I'm being ventilated in a way that's not okay.
The Oscar dress.
Oh, right.
Defend your dress.
I really liked that dress, but everybody hated it.
Very sort of like Bardot.
I didn't realize quite that the angle of the underwear would show that way.
And even those pictures from the most magical time in her career, her award-winning performance in Shakespeare in Love, even those disguise a secret. Like the smiles at the Golden Globes.
So when I won the Golden Globe, my grandfather had liver cancer, my father had throat cancer, but my grandfather didn't know about my father, so we couldn't say anything.
And the winner is Gwyneth Paltrow, Shakespeare in Love.
But then, by the time that the Academy Awards happened, he knew.
And everyone remembers her anguished Oscar speech, urging her grandfather Buster to hang in there, and then tearfully expressing love for her dad as he wrestled insurmountable obstacles.
I'm really like the daddy's girl of all time, and I just always wanted to get in his pocket.
More about the father she adored in a moment. In a sense, she's giving her father a gift with her new movie, Sylvia. He wanted her to do it.
Finally, a movie I love.
Who the hell are you?
Sylvia Plath.
It's the story of one of the most celebrated poets of modern times, Sylvia Plath, poet of searing emotion and fierce truth. She was a woman who would quote Chaucer to the cows.
Rife enough for me to speak of war that is in marriage.
And burn up the sky with vitality, even while trying to counter her husband's infidelity.
I'm thinking of taking a lover.
I think some people are kind of meant to live a quick, very strong life.
Sylvia is Paltrow's 13th movie since she won the Oscars. Movies that range from the eccentric, like The Royal Tenenbaums, to Shallow Hal and The Antic View from the Top. Movies often more eclectic than successful. You said, finally a movie I like.
Well, it's hard, you know. I kind of have been a bit all over the place with the choices that I've made, but then you end up being in things that you thought, well, why did I do that? But I've also never been that ambitious, so I just kind of, I promise you.
You've never envied anybody in this business? Let me ask.
I mean,
Julia?
No. I think Julia's like the all-time classic movie star. I mean, she's just so incredibly good at what she does. But I'm not like a movie star like that.
But you don't have to feel like a star inside to be one on the outside. Paltrow, in her early 20s, was still at the beginning of her career when she got engaged to Brad Pitt, legendary nice guy and Hollywood heartthrob. The engagement was shattered, she says, because she wasn't ready and behaved badly.
The matching haircuts picture. Wow.
But she was a girl ready to get married, have children right away.
Well,
she said.
She said. But she wasn't at all. My kind of internal stuff really tripped up that whole relationship. And I felt really responsible, and also like I was the architect of my own misery, and I just made a big mess out of it. And
Hurt him?
yeah.
How long did you suffer when it broke up?
Probably a good 5 years, I would say. I was very upset for a long, long time about it. I just felt really bad about myself for a long, long time. But I'm so lucky that I spent time with Brad, somebody who was such a good person, especially when I was like such a mess.
What's it like when you see him now?
Now, really nice, really good. It was nice when we were able to sort of see each other and smile and wish each other well.
And that would be just the first of 2 lessons about men learned over the past few years.
You said, within that time frame, I had a broken engagement and a drawn-out and tortured relationship with a complete knucklehead.
I didn't name any names. So
No, but I mean, it makes us leap.
Leap away.
We will when we come back.
Gwyneth Paltrow has said openly that this past year brought her to her knees with grief and suffering. Though sometimes it's hard to believe that girls so golden can also have lives filled with loss and the struggle to go on. For Paltrow, it was all about family and an insecure little girl who grew up with her dad as her son, her warmth, her light.
I was very skinny, and I had a very, disproportionately large head and braces, and I thought it would be kind of a cool 80s thing if I sort of shaved the back of my head.
Gawky or not, Paltrow was already part of an elite showbiz family. Her mother, stage and movie star Blythe Danner, dad, Bruce Paltrow, director and producer of iconic hits like Saint Elsewhere, was bohemian, she says, loving and Jewish. In fact, they call his hair a Jewfro.
Jewfro?
He did eat a big Jewfro. It was like out to here. It was great.
It really was Uncle Morty who gave you your first job?
We should all have an Uncle Morty like that. It's her nickname for family pal Steven Spielberg, who asked her to be Wendy in
Why are
Hook.
you crying? What's your name? Wendy.
Were you scared?
I was petrified.
To be
Soon,
recognized.
fear turned to an astonishing confidence and versatility. She even sings in a movie directed by her dad, duets.
Away from here.
And only a handful of actors would even dare to play the electric but erratic poet Sylvia Plath, rocked by her husband's infidelity.
She was trying to be everything that a woman in the 50s was supposed to be, a wife and a mother and a baker and a sewer and an organizer, and she was also, most importantly, this incredibly complicated, cracked spirit.
In 1963, Plath would kill herself after making toast for her young children, a combination, again, of domesticity and despair. Plath's daughter, Frida Hughes, publicly opposed the making of the movie.
She wouldn't let a lot of the material be used in the movie.
Right.
She wrote a poem in which she said there would, at the end, in effect, that it would be a Sylvia suicide doll.
I mean, being a daughter myself, I completely understand the want and the need to protect your family and your parents. But at the same time, I feel like people are, will discover who Sylvia Plath was, and that's very important as well. So it is a dilemma. But obviously, you know which side I I made the film, so.
She filmed the movie in London, where she's pretty much been living.
You said you've been out of the country.
So I don't know sort of pop culture stuff that goes on.
I've got news for you. Ben and J-Lo are not getting married.
I heard this. That's very sad.
Paltrow and Affleck were famously together for 2 years.
Have you written him? Have you called?
No.
You surprised?
No.
Because you always got the feeling that he felt, for want of a word or two here or there, you'd still be together.
No. Definitely not.
Fundamentally different.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I just think we have a very different sort of value system. Ben makes life tough for himself. He's got a lot of complication, and, you know, he really is a great guy, so I hope he, you know, sorts himself out.
Do you remember what he said when you were on Good Morning America once and I asked him what was your idea of the perfect man?
No.
What's her idea of the perfect man?
Her father.
He said your dad. And when I asked you what his idea of the perfect woman was, do you remember what you said?
No.
His idea of the perfect woman.
Any sort of stripper at Scores. Anyone that serves cold beer in a bikini or a wet t-shirt. Why do I drink before these interviews? I don't know.
That's it. That's what I said to
It is the laugh of a girl who has just begun laughing again after losing the man, she says, whose humor and intelligence centered her life. A year ago, her father was still battling cancer.
He had a very tough time. I mean, the surgery and radiation that they did to his neck were so invasive. He was always choking and inhaling food in his lungs and on antibiotics and painkillers.
He came to Rome to celebrate her 30th birthday. He felt sick. Everyone thought it was just pneumonia.
We got him to the hospital, and he didn't make it through the first night because the cancer had come back. It was in his bronchial tubes, and which we didn't know. None of us knew, including him, thank God. So actually, I think in a lot of ways it was a blessing because he would have faced a few really miserable months. And I don't know, I think there's something kind of elegant and great about dying in Rome. The amazing thing is how unprepared we are in this culture for grief. And it is a monster. I mean, it is a monster. You know, there were some days where I thought, I can't believe I'm waking up. I can't believe I'm still alive. I mean, the weight of the pain was so great. But you just keep waking up.
Hoping it's true that when one door closes, another one opens. Like the one that opened in London when Paltrow went to hear the band Coldplay, the band that swept the Grammys in the music charts. Afterwards, she met the brilliant lead singer Chris Martin, a relationship so new and apparently so important she's terrified of letting outsiders in.
Are you really going to try and make me talk about this? I don't want to talk about it.
Martin has, in a sense, talked through his music. He wrote a song this past year for his golden girl in her toughest hour. A song which says, if you're gonna break down, you can break on me.
Great song. Great song. Great song. I love those lyrics.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Sylvia Plath has written in a poem, "Does not my heat astound you? And my light." The movie Sylvia opens October 17th in New York and LA and nationwide on the 24th.
For the latest video highlights,